Thank you. Hi, I'm here with Shannon Plumb, filmmaker extraordinaire, who's made some lovely short and now a little bit longer films, which were shown recently at MoMA as part of their new director's series. And Shannon's films are very comedic and very naive and very lo-fi. And let's hear about them. Why did you start making movies?
I guess I always wanted to be, I'm going into that interview voice. Wait a minute. Okay. So I always wanted to be in movies, you know. I used to, or be a rock and roll singer. Actually, it started with Donna Summers. I used to dress up, and I had this pretend microphone when I was like 6 or 5, and I used to listen to like the Cake in the Rain song, and I would just put this crazy robe on that I had and pretend it was a gown, and I would just sing, you know, forever. I think that's where it started. And then I just always wanted to do the movies. It didn't seem like a reality. I ended up studying acting at school. I thought I was gonna go into the theater, but I was terrified on stage. Like, I mean, not to the point where I was shaking or anything, but I was a shy kid, so it was a big challenge. And I studied acting. I really loved the craft, but I couldn't handle. I didn't have the armor for the rejection. So when I came to the city, I just had to work. I had no money, so I was handing out flyers. I was doing everything, and no idea how I was not getting in the movies was not a reality at all. I was in a kitchen with like 6 Mexicans, 2 French guys, and a perverted Italian. And so I was like, I was delivering food. So I don't know how it came about, but then time was going on. I was writing a lot. I wanted to get my ideas out, and I couldn't. I just didn't have the medium. And my friend told me, Damien Dunk, he did me the hugest favor. He said, Shannon, just try to get a camera and shoot. And I was like, I can't afford a camera. I have no money. He's like, you can get cheap Super 8 cameras at the flea market. They're like $20. He's like, just try it on there and see what happens. And so I did what he said. He actually bought me the camera, and he gave it to me. I shot, and when I got the film back, and I also got a projector, which was no money at all, I shined it on the wall, and I was just like, this is amazing. And I had to use myself, which was not, I don't know, I had to test it, so I had no one else. And I was like, I'm really funny. It's like, and it sounds vain, but I was in love with what I could do on screen. Body, being young then, I guess I was, I worked with, what do they say, photogenic, but it was the ideas that you could come across, with silence too. There was no sound, because I couldn't do sound if I was going to do these Super 8 cameras. So that was it.
Yeah.
I was in. That was it.
That was the beginning of it, huh?
Yeah.
And how many films did you make in that style?
There's like 200 of those.
Whoa.
They're really, I had 3 minutes on a Super 8 cartridge, so I would get the timing down.
Funny.
And I could afford maybe 4 takes at the time, and it was so much cheaper back then. And I would pick the best take, and that was it.
Best reel, little short reels, right?
Yeah.
It was before tapes, actually.
Yeah. But with the 3 minutes, I wanted to use as much as I could, so I never edited, and then I started to say, okay, I could get 3 performances in on 3 minutes. I'll make them a minute long, so and then I had to learn everything else. But in the beginning, it was just pure comedy and filmmaking and me and the camera.
Yeah, and your bio mentions that you were inspired by the early silent film comics.
I was, but it's funny because my friend is the one who told me about Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton, because I really didn't pay much attention to them. I didn't, I grew up in Schenectady, New York. I didn't know about the Beatles till I was in college. There's no culture there. So Charlie Chaplin, nobody showed me Charlie Chaplin.
Right.
And my friend Alex Belth, he started showing me these movies, and I was like, this is crazy.
Wow.
And then I didn't want to watch them too much because I was like, I felt like I was gonna say contaminate, but that's not the right word, that I was gonna steal, and I wanted to keep my thing going. But now I go back to them and refer to them and see what you can take out of there, you know?
Right. Good stuff. So how did you get your first film into the gallery art world?
Yeah, so there was I was showing at Anthology a lot. Luckily, Jonas Mekas, like, I handed him my tape. I didn't know who he was, and I handed him a videotape then, and I said, can you look at my videos? Maybe you want to show them someday? And he's like, sure, I'll take a look. And like a week later, he called me and he said, come, I want you to have a show. So he started me showing my films. That was in a theater. Somehow, like, I would have my own show every once in a while. I'd make new films, I'd debut them there, and I would have this audience, a little bit of a following. And there were a couple people, one woman especially, Ann Elgood, she was in the art world. And she saw the films because she had a boyfriend at the time who was in the theater, and he knew me. And so she brought them to the New Museum Gala. And they shined on this big wall in the back, and they didn't really need sound. So people were partying, and this image was on the wall, and moving image. And that was the start of the art world.
Wow.
People responded to them.
Wow.
And Anina Noze was the first person she discovered Basquiat. She was the first person to say, hey, I have a TV, summer show. If you want to put your video on, we'll put it in the front hall, and you can be a part of the group show.
Nice.
So that was flattering and amazing, and then it started in the art world.
That's great. And now you're actually moving into, what is that?
Okay, so the thing, now I'm doing these series of skits that are like an episode, because it's a digital craze right now, right? Everybody's doing comedy shows and all this. Well, when I was a kid, like 9 years old, my mom gave me a black and white TV to put in my room. And I would get home from school every day, like 3 or 4, and turn it on, and Carol Burnett would be on. And I was in love with her. And Tim Conway and the whole group, and I was just, I don't know, I didn't think I was going to do what they were doing, but I loved watching them. And now, somehow, I end up emulating this show. And also, like, wanting to go after Saturday Night Live. I'm like, I wanted to audition for them when I found out they had auditions, and I'm like, I can't mimic anybody. It's like, everybody in that crew can, like, do these awesome impersonations. I was like, that's not me. So I was like, I gotta make my own show. So I started this thing called Chopped Liver, and unfortunately it has words, because I really love the physical comedy. I'm struggling having to use words to carry the comedy. But it's been a fun ride, at least for the first one so far.
Nice.
Yeah.